Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today is part 2 of chapter 8 and let's just jump right on in. Why do we do the people-pleasing dance? Why is it so hard to tell the truth when we think a lie is what the other person wants to hear? Do we do it to keep friendships? To prevent hurt feelings? So that we will still be liked by the other person? Yes, yes, and yes. But it isn't just when we are asked questions that we are tempted to tell a slight variation of the truth. Sometimes we come up with pleasant lies all on our own without ever being asked. This is a different type of speech. It's called flattery. Along with my other misguided gifts of gab, I am very skilled at wielding the clever tool of flattery. It has been said that gossip is saying something behind someone's back that you would never dare say to their face. However, flattery is the opposite. It is saying something to someone's face that you would never say behind their back, usually because you don't really believe it's true. Flattery is perhaps the purest form of people-pleasing. People-pleasing becomes an ingrained habit when we need the approval of others in order to feel good about ourselves, to feel acceptance, love, and approval. And who doesn't approve of someone who says nothing but complimentary things about them? Flattery, like other weaknesses, sometimes starts out as a strength. Throughout my life, I have been known as an encourager. Several members of our Speaking in Ministry team at Proverbs 31 call me the team cheerleader. I love to speak words that build others up. I love to encourage people to try things that they think might be too difficult for them. I love to write notes and send texts and post words on Facebook walls that make others smile and help them believe in themselves. But just as the strength of being decisive can morph into the weakness of being bossy, and the strength of being thorough can become the weakness of procrastination, the strength of encouragement can become the weakness of flattery. And my encouragement flattery skills were honed early on. If I wanted to be friends with a pretty and popular girl at school, I learned to say flattering things to her. I told her that her new poncho was simply adorable and totally brought out the color of her light blue eyes when in reality it reminded me of my grandmother's curtains. I knew this little lie of flattery might very well earn me a seat next to said popular girl at lunchtime later that day. Or perhaps she would choose to play double dutch with me at recess, something she'd never done before. And what was the harm? My little lie gained me access to a coveted spot in the elementary school social circle. School wasn't the only place that I learned to speak with flattering lips. I also knew it could get me places at church, or within my family, or on the drama team, or with the neighborhood kids. The more people I told just what they wanted to hear, the more friends I gained. Or so I thought. At first, the habit of flattering others seemed pretty innocent. It really didn't get me into a great deal of trouble. I would give someone a compliment that I really didn't believe to be true. The other person happily accepted the compliment. No harm, no foul. But when I was asked a question that required me to choose between two different people, then I would find myself caught in a tangled web of my own words. When I was just a freshman in college, I auditioned for the school musical and got a part in the chorus. There were several upperclassmen girls who were trying out for the leading role, and I really wanted to impress these girls and get to be in their circle of friends. So I reached into my verbal arsenal and grabbed my tool of flattery. There was one particular senior, we'll call her Girl A, who was considered popular and pretty and a shining role model at our Christian college. I really wanted to be her friend. Then there was a girl who was a junior, we'll call her Girl B, who was also very well liked and talented. On separate occasions, I told each girl that I thought she deserved the leading role in the play. She had the best acting skills. She had the best vocal ability when it came to singing the show tunes. I assured each one that hands down she would land the role of the leading lady. I'm sure you already know where this is going. Yep. One day I was gone from rehearsal. Girl A and Girl B were paired together to work on a particular piece of music. As they were interacting and trying to learn the score, the subject came up of who would get the leading female part. The first gal said she was pretty nervous about trying out, but had gained confidence because someone had told her they thought she would get the leading role hands down. The second girl, trying to be humble, gently corrected the first girl, saying that she was told by someone that she was the very best actress and singer in the whole troupe. When each of them wanted to know who it was that said these things, of course they came up with the same name. And then, my name was Mud. Neither of those girls ended up being my friend. My flattering words backfired. When you speak flattering words, you paint yourself into a corner, a very lonely corner. In short order, you can go from being liked to being known as a people-pleasing liar. Flattery may seem like it wins you friends, but in reality, it will likely cost you friends in the end. Once upon a time, in the days when Jesus walked the earth, there was a mighty king. His name was Herod Antipas. He had a wife who wanted him to do her a favor. Her name was Herodias. The missus didn't really care too much for the man known as John the Baptist, the wandering prophet who ate wild locusts and honey and talked about repenting for the kingdom of God was coming soon. In fact, she'd just as soon have him dead. John was a truth teller. On numerous occasions, when he bumped into old King H, he brought up the little matter of the king and his bride. John pointed out the fact that if it hadn't been right for Herod to marry her. In fact, it was downright illegal. His wife was the former spouse of Herod's brother Philip. Apparently, it was against the law for him to marry her, but hey, he was the king. I guess he could do whatever he wished. Herod arrested John and would have had him put to death, but he was afraid it might cause a riot because all the people believed John was a prophet. And so, because of what all of the people thought, Herod chose to let him live. His actions were swayed because of the desire of the crowd. Then one day Herod hosted a party to celebrate his birthday. For entertainment at the gala, his wife's daughter performed a dance that Herod and all the guest judges on Dancing in the Palace, gave perfect 10s. And so, right there in front of all the party guests, with their pointy hats and honking party blowers, the king made an oath to the belly dancer. He promised to give the young woman anything she wanted. Apparently, she didn't have anything on her wish list that day because she initially gave no answer. However, she talked to her mother about it, and her mom had an idea. She urged her daughter to make this her request. Give me here, on a platter, the head of John the Baptist. Herod was greatly distressed at this request. This was not something he wanted to do. But he went ahead and did it. Why? The king... Wait a minute. Yes, the king was distressed, but because of his oaths and his dinner guests, he ordered that her request be granted and had John beheaded in the prison. His head was brought in on a platter and given to the girl, who carried it to her mother. Because of his oaths and his dinner guests. Initially, it was because of his wife that King Herod tossed John into jail. Then he kept John alive because he knew it would please the crowds. In the end, he shot off his mouth and had to kill John in order to save face and please his dinner guests. These decisions, the arrest, not having John executed, and then later serving up his head on the royal china, were all motivated by people-pleasing. We don't really know what Herod thought of the whole issue. He couldn't seem to make up his mind. In verse 5, it seems he wanted him dead. By verse 9, he is sorry that John was to be killed. We are given only a glimpse into why he took the actions he did. It was always to appease someone else. I think we're going to go ahead and stop right here, and then we will get into part 3. I'm stumbling over my words today, guys. Well, we will start in on part 3 tomorrow. I hope you've all had a very wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.